Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Age Capture Live. I'm your host, Terry Bridgeforth, and today I have with me a very special guest, actor, Mr. Malachi. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Hanging in there, hanging in there. For those of you that don't know, Malachi, he's a very well-rounded actor. We're going to start picking his brain a little bit about his career. We're going to talk about a very important role that he's played on a big show with a very well-known actor for most people that do know him. And then just to kind of get some feedback on the pros and cons of being an actor, where we are now, some of his projects that he's working on. And then we're going to go into the shotgun questions, 6 shotgun questions that we're going to talk about. And then we'll do a little closure and we'll be good to go. All right?
Cool.
So going right into it, how'd you get into acting?
Oh man, I've been acting since I was really young. Yeah, I was always that kid.
Mm-hmm.
I would go. I was active and I would go outside and play and stuff like that. But when I would be inside by myself, I'd be the kid inside talking to himself in the room.
Mm-hmm. Like you start getting those little like traits of like, becoming different characters or liking how the characters are. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I used to watch stuff on TV, and then before I even knew I was acting, I was just watching stuff. I would watch stuff on TV when I was young, and I would just mimic the way people would say things, and it would just stay with me. And so it's been a long time. And then elementary school, I did my first play, and it was from there. I went to a performing arts high school. And so it's always been part of me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that a lot of the stuff that comes from like the education aspect of acting, do you find that as a benefit, or do you find that as something that's not needed? I always ask a lot of actors that, because the background of where you start, some people are, theologians and they go to school, they go to Juilliard,
right?
And some people, they just have it's like, what do you?
Yeah, I'm one of those people who I believe that there's no blueprint to it.
Mm-hmm.
I know people who are, and I'm one of those people. I've trained. You know what I mean? I've studied the craft, and I've done it for a long time. But I know some people who literally, just stay in it to the point where it's just like, you do know that you're not acting, right?
Yeah.
You're just constantly training.
They come home and they always do it,
right? You're just like, but they're always like, I got to be in the class. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I think part of the beauty of acting is just doing it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a stickler for, and I have really close friends. I went to the University of Maryland, but I have a lot of close friends who went to, Juilliard and Yale and stuff like that. And, and at the end of the day, it's like, the training is great. But for me, I feel like as an actor, you have to tap into something. You use the training as the base, but there got to be something else that you need to tap into. And typically it's being vulnerable enough to, figure out, how can I bring in my life experiences? How can I bring in other elements and make it believable on screen? And, sometimes training can help for that. But then there's others who haven't, especially back in the day, there's people who are some phenomenal actors from back in the day who never even stepped foot into a Juilliard or
no class.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
No and it's just like, every now and then you get one, right? You get like a diamond in the rough that kind of like, they're just like what they call them, natural, right? You just get it, and they're like, they can kind of adapt. But even them, they like, I think once they get on and they realize the competition and they realize, the expansion of becoming other characters, then they start to see like, okay, this is something that I can learn how to change, and that's why it's like encasing and working on your craft. That's the artistry of it. Like, you can be a painter, and then you go and get taught how to paint certain things. You're like, oh, I always paint, still shot. I had my last guest was a painter, and he was saying that the way he started was the same way. He liked two specific things: portraits and still life. But like, he challenges himself because he says the way that his method is, he starts two paintings at the same time, and whichever one he's kind of like feeling, he goes with that. You never like stay static. And he was like, that's how I get out of like painter's block. I always do 2 projects at once. So that was pretty cool. I never had anyone else that did that.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. I mean, it varies. I mean, it just, like I said, I've been doing it for a while now, and I still feel like my career is just starting. But the thing I do know is that like there's no blueprint to it at all. Like, people like they'll have all these rules and laid out like, oh, you need to do this, you need to go about this, blah blah blah, and it's just like, well, that worked for you, but
that worked for you, but
it might not work for that person. So
it can work for everybody.
Yeah.
So going into like your career, the next thing, one of the biggest things that we talked about off camera was, how was it working with Gary Oldman on MANK?
So interesting about that. When I got that role, my character was Mr. Butler, and MANK, and so I just kind of took it as anything, I was like, oh, I knew I was working with David Fincher. At the time, and I knew how amazing he is as a director. But I didn't quite know what I was stepping into during that time, because if anybody who's really tapped into the industry and they know, David Fincher is known for being very technical, and intense as far as his direction. And so for me, it was interesting because I was used to working with directors who just kind of allow you to explore as an actor all the time, and he's very technical. So he's literally like, lift your head up. The sun is shining in your face this way, so lift your head up, tilt it this way. Or you're going up on the. Can you say, instead of saying the, can you say the? And I'm just like, and in my mind, I'm like, who the hell thinks somebody this stuff?
Who's that tech? Yeah, but I mean, like, that's the trick, right? You deal with some actors that say, or directors that just like, just this is the key, and just kind of like let it go, feel it out, and improv.
And so like, Yep. And so we did. I mean, literally, like my role in my mind, which is interesting because I was the only Black person in the whole damn movie. But my role was like,
you represented.
I did.
For the rest of us, we got one in here.
I didn't even know. That's the crazy part. I didn't even know that I was represented. Like I thought I was just going, to do the movie, and so it was a point where I was just like, oh man, and I swear it felt like 100 takes, and he's known for taking a lot of takes. And so at that point, you just kind of like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, you start getting your head as an actor. I'm like, man, he about to cut me out this damn movie. I was I'm gonna do all this work. It's gonna be edited. Because that can happen, right? Yep. So a lot of artists, a lot of actors are very like scared to even mention they did something because especially if it's not a major, like if it's not a leading role, which I wasn't a leading role, but at the same time, I'm like, my role was significant enough, and so and so we did that. It was like take after take after take, and so that was pretty much it. Now the Gary Oldman part was interesting to me because I didn't work directly with Gary. Yeah. I didn't even know I was going to be in the scene with him. I just knew I was shooting that particular that day, and so when I actually saw the movie, I was like, "Oh shit, he's looking at me." Yeah, like he's like actually, he's that's the scene. You're like, "Wait a minute, he wasn't even there." And that's another part that a lot of people don't really understand. A lot of times, a lot of actors, you may work on a film that an actor's in, but you may not directly work with him. Like one of the last movies I worked with I worked with Eric Roberts. He shot his stuff in Cali. We shot our stuff in Mass. And then it's supposed to be in the same scene. Yep. I met him and everything, but it was like, when he shot his scenes, he was in Cali with the green screen, and we were in Mass at the green screen. So that was kind of cool. And then to see it like at the end, like it looks literally like we're talking to each other. So I was thoroughly pleased when I was just like, man, they put me in a whole scene with Gary Oldman. Like it's even though you got it. That's what I mean. You got it. So everybody knows Gary. So I was proud to put that on my reel. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and that's part of the acting thing, right? You're growing, and then you start seeing like more and more people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy." And then before you know it, then you're a name, and then you kind of like help somebody else out. I know Denzel was he's got a big thing about doing that. Like when you get on
you always help somebody else, and that's the way that you help yourself. Like,
oh yeah,
you shouldn't be selfish where you're still like, oh, it's all for me. It's like, I got on, I want to get somebody else on. So,
yep.
Okay. So after going into, going into that movie or just that project itself, who can you say is like your favorite actor, and how do they inspire you to be an actor? If you have one. Some people, they don't got none, but that's it.
I won't necessarily say favorite actor, but I'll tell you, like, two of the things that kind of really changed my life was when I was young and performing and really starting to get into my space. Well, I'll say three, so I'll make it real quick. But it was an episode of A Different World.
Okay.
Where Charnel Brown, who played Kimberly Reese, where she did Nikki Giovanni's Ego Tripping, and they acted that whole thing out. And I remember, like, I'm telling my age now, but I remember like recording that and like rewinding and stuff like that, because I was so amazed about how words and performance and stage and stuff like that. And that was one of my first memories of performing and wanting to perform. And so when I saw that kind of really did a thing for me. The second one was Sister Act 2.
Okay.
That pretty much changed my life. I was just like, I want to be. This is like Whoopi Goldberg. I was just like, I want to be one of the students.
They're trying to do a Sister Act 3, right?
I know. Look, I'm too old to be a student now.
That's her iconic character. If she's the only one that can play it, she's still alive. So I'm like, you might as well get that check real quick. But.
Yeah. and James Earl Jones.
There you go.
I remember hearing a teacher say that to me one time. She's like, you're going to be like a young James Earl Jones. You have such a presence on stage and performing and stuff like that. And at the time, I really didn't know. I was young. I was like, I didn't know who he really was like that.
Who she was really talking about.
Yeah, so I started going down like the rabbit hole and just really looking at him and stuff like that. And then I, started looking at some of his performance at Fences on Broadway was, I was just like, man, this is this is the
change the game. That's one of the reasons why Denzel wanted to roll, because he did. And then if the history of how iconic, because he's known for his voice, right? Besides his acting, but he's known for his voice. But the history with him is that he was a stutterer. He had to go to a speech therapist to actually like learn how to slow down and process his words. And then after he did it, he actually like gained that voice. And I remember I think he had a video that he showed when he, like, how his old voice sounded versus the newer one, because like he had to like slow down certain things. And just think about it now. He's iconic for a voice for somebody that probably got laughed at and joked on. Oh, you stutter. And now look at him. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so you never know. That's what I mean. You never know who's gonna be who, and you got to keep working, and that's a beautiful story, man. Like
man. I just remember watching him. I was like, I want that presence, that thing that he has. So yeah.
So, what's the most current film that you worked on, and how did you get involved in that? This is more for like actors coming up. I like, even for me, a lot of the things I'll practice or utilize is like casting networks or Actors Access, stuff like that, agents and things like that. Like, how did you get this project that you're working on, the current one?
So the current one that I am in actually post-production with, now this is what I'm excited about.
There we go.
And it didn't come through my agents or my manager. This was something I created myself.
Here we go.
And it's called Moments. And humbly, I would say I think it's going to do some dope, amazing things. It's about a Black therapy group and the moment that led each of them to therapy. And it has a sci-fi element because the therapist is actually able to read their minds.
Okay.
And then so it's like a whole time traveling thing, and we shot that over a course of a couple of months. I got a team together. I called in favors from some amazing actors who, my friend Rutina Wesley, who's in Queen Sugar and was in True Blood. She's one of the leads.
Yep.
My boy Deshaun Terry, who's in the morning show. He's one of the leads. My girl Sophie Bradshaw, who's in Veep, she's one of the leads. Like I've called in people, and
they showed up.
They showed up and they showed out. And I am so proud of this project. And so to be in a space where you've been doing it for a while and you're still constantly trying to just be like, yo, I'm really trying to really get my break.
Yeah.
And to have ownership of something and control of it and just feel like, man, that's
you. That's your stuff. That ain't like, oh, you got a role and you're in it. Oh yeah, I did. Like, it's just all that. So,
and it's and just even talking to the people that are involved, and I'm talking about not even just the leads, the supportings are like really dope people. And to have everybody say, man, what you wrote like literally gave us wings to go ahead and act and to really be actors and stuff like that. Because one thing for me, I'm like, I always say to myself, I'm like, man, like I know how to write for an actor. You know what I mean? I know how to write things that make actors go like, damn, okay, I can tap into this. This is kind of,
that's what I mean. Like you don't know where you're gonna end up. A lot of times you start as an actor and then you end up as a really dope director, or some people, they stay as actors, writers. That's another niche for you. Yeah. I hope, like I said, you send me, we talked before, send me all the links. I always like to be part of that stuff. So send me the links. If you got
we'll do, man.
Got some piece, I'll promote it and all that other stuff. So you already know.
Did I send you the poster?
Yeah, I seen it. That's what I said. I seen all that stuff. So let me know of any of the other stuff. I do all that stuff too. So but send me the links to the trailers and any of the stuff that you want to be showcased. So when I post the YouTube thing, is on there.
Okay. Dope.
But I love hearing about like independent products because I shoot some of my own independent, and I don't even know how to explain it. It's a total different animal when you're doing it yourself, and you got to certain things. You got to pull. Oh, can you do this for me? Oh yeah. So it's a total different thing when you're doing that, and then you gain respect for the people that do it very well. At a larger scale and stuff. So kudos to you. That's another aspect of your career. That's not just an actor. You're creating other stuff for other actors to be.
Right.
That's even for like stuff like the show and like projects. It's always great to see great people do well with things that you make.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So and I feel like what I've done so far is, and I've seen it, create a community where now people met on set and now they're working on a project together. And these people working, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Exactly. And that's all because of you. So that's one of my other guests, he's like a mentor of mine, June Archer. He always says, like, he has a thing that says, like, you have to think about yourself as you're dope. Like a lot of times it's like people get in the realm of like, it's almost like being conceited, but it's the idea like you're really confident in knowing that you're a person. There's only one of you, and everything that you do in your life, you're helping somebody else, and then you're helping yourself. Yeah. Giving back. There's so many different avenues and so many different aspects. It's a blessing that you're doing that. And like I said, anything you need from me, name it. And I love to hear stories like that when you're doing something and you're giving back to somebody else. So that's what's up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Going into the last question before we get into the shotgun questions, that might have answered it. But what would be your dream film and who would direct it?
I don't necessarily know my dream film, but I'll tell you probably my favorite genre. I love period pieces.
Okay.
I love period pieces. Like, I just love the throwbacks. I love the 60s, the 70s, I just love seeing stories about like just eras and certain things. And so I'll say that right now, but that might change. You know what I mean? But,
you never know. You might shoot one and be like, oh, that's what's up. I like the way like the cars look, the hairstyle, the clothes, the way you talk, way you move. So yeah, period pieces, that's what's up. I always wanted to do like an old like Civil War movie, like Glory or something.
Me too.
Like that. Me too. Like that. That's a dope genre.
Yeah, me too.
There's so many different things to pull from. You know what I mean? It ain't modern, and then you got a whole bunch of different pieces. So
yeah. And director, I'm just someone who's nice and somebody who's good. Somebody, you know. I love directors who understand actors.
Like an actor's director.
Yeah, because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
It's important.
Being on the sets and you're like, you can kind of sense that they've never acted. A director that's acted understands what an actor needs to do his or her job.
Yeah.
And then they give respect. Most actors that have been directors, they give respect to the director for the demand of what their job consists of. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? It's like you're always going to be a better actor when you're working with another director because you directed.
Yeah.
And that person, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's always a good thing. All right, so we're gonna get into the shotgun questions. These questions are basically ones you weren't prepped for. So it's like you like this or that. Like if you like hamburgers or hot dogs, you'll say hamburgers or hot dogs. To give a little intricate piece of how you are as a person. This is what these questions are for. Not so much of professional, but more of a personal touch.
Okay.
All right. So once again, there's going to be a couple of questions. Some of them are going to be one's going to be a scenario-based one, but we're going to get into it. You can elaborate as much as you want on the answer, but you can just say this or that if you'd like. It's up to you. Okay.
All right.
Better franchise: Yankees or Red Sox?
Yankees.
Okay. You're 1 for 1 for me. 1 for 1.
Well, I mean, listen, I was in New York for 15 years of my life.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Better player, Kobe or LeBron?
I mean, LeBron is still here, but Kobe was my generation.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen anything like Kobe, but that's just my personal opinion.
That's what we talking about. So, Kobe. Okay, that's what's up. Better overall artist, Prince or Michael Jackson?
Damn.
I told you I can't give you too many easy ones.
Can I take a shot?
Tread lightly.
I'm gonna have to go with, for me, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of these you can't really lose either way. It's kind of like for the audience and the fans to kind of see, why and just your favorite. That's it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I guess because of the height of both of them, for me, I felt like Michael's appeal even touched children and young people. Yeah. And I feel like Prince made a lot of grown folk music for a long time that you kind of got into later.
Yeah. And respect for both of them because they're both iconic people. You know what I mean? Yeah. They changed the game in all different aspects. So that's what's up. Marvel or DC?
I'll go with Marvel.
Marvel. Okay. I see people that are like, oh yeah, I'm a DC fan, but I love the Marvel universe. I don't like the DC universe cinematic.
I guess that's why I'm going there. Yeah.
Yeah. So. A lot of people, they say that, and I agree. I'm a DC fan, but I think Marvel got it right when they did the universe. But what's good about it is DC is like rebooting it now, so we can get a. Hopefully, they do it well with James Gunn at the helm. I trust him.
Yep.
So I think
my next thing, what I was about to say, I'm available to work if anybody from Marvel is watching this.
There you go. There you go. Get the plug. Get the plug. You know, Marvel, DC. I don't care. Put me on. That's it. And the last question is a scenario. Okay, so you go to a bar and you're having a few drinks, and somebody bumps you. The guy wants to fight you. Right? There's two other people there that you can choose from. All right, there's two guys there you can choose from. Your opponent gets to take the other person, so it's going to be 2-on-2. All right, who do you pick out of these two people? All right, Clubber Lang or Tyson? I gotta throw the movie stuff in there. And remember, your opponent gets the other guy.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Tyson.
You go with Tyson. Go with Tyson. Come on, my boy. Come on, my boy.
I feel like Tyson would do anything to get the job done. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody else said that. Somebody was like, I don't care. He'll bite, kick.
He'll do whatever he needs to do to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tyson about that life.
Yeah. I mean, like that. Even in that setting, there's no ring. There's no ref. There ain't, everything goes. So it's kind of like, I think Mike would do some damage. Yeah,
Mike straight from the streets. He ain't.
Yeah, it's a good bet. It's a good bet. He ain't gonna stop. So that's what's up. Okay. So Mr. Malachi, where can people find you on social media? They're trying to get you, stuff like that.
Instagram, Malachi Rivers, MALACHI RIVERS. Facebook, same. It's all across social media. It's just Malachi Rivers.
Malachi Rivers.
I'm on TikTok, but I ain't really on TikTok.
Yep.
I'm a bootleg TikToker. I'm like one of those like, oh, I posted it on Instagram, so let me try to post it on here.
Yeah, that's how I am. I'll just put and I'll post it. Yep. On Instagram. I got something that's mad on TikTok, but I was like, I can't just not be on the platform because it does. A lot of people they be looking at TikTok, the younger group. So I'm like, all right, let's put some of my stuff on there. So
yeah, and then like a month later, I go back and look at it and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, 6,000 views. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's cross social media. It's Malachi Rivers.
Malachi Rivers.
My website, MalachiRivers.com. I just updated it, so I'm putting that out there because that took some time and a headache.
Yeah,
So
yeah, do whatever you gotta do. All right, so thank you, brother. We talked off camera. You got some stuff to do. Let me know about the movie if you need any help with anything. Obviously, from marketing material, promotion. Send me the links, like I said. Any of the stuff that you're working on, I definitely want to check out Moments. Let me know about the red carpet. If I can make it, I'll make it.
Yeah, that's what's up. I'm planning on if I release it myself, I'm planning on doing screenings in different parts or whatever. But I'll say this: I hope I don't have to release it myself. I've taken some meetings already, so we'll see. But if I do, I'm going to do some screenings in different cities. And so New York will probably be one of them, which is not far. You can.
Yeah, I'm right. That's right there.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for having me, man. Like I appreciate it. Like anybody that want to even talk to me,
Yeah, not a problem. This is the first of many. We definitely gonna reach out. Give you some time, marinate, get the stuff moving, and then do a follow up. And I love to keep you on. And we're friends on Facebook and Instagram. So, when things come up, we'll communicate. There'll be projects we can work on. So.
I was thinking that. I'm working on some other stuff too. Maybe we can bring you in as an actor.
Let me know. So. All right, appreciate it. See y'all in the next video. Make sure you reach out to Mr. Rivers. Promote, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.